What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. For the second time today, we got a little bit of news for you guys. We just got off the morning show. You guys all know MCDC just had his presser. And if you were not able to watch that presser, maybe you're still sleeping in, maybe watch this video later in the day, there were some revelations out there. Some good news. Alex Anzalone, I know some people had reported yesterday that he wasn't in camp, yada, yada. MCDC did confirm he went there. He was there, did his physical testing along with all the other players out there, was at camp. MCDC did drop a wee bit of a bombshell, though, during the first presser of the season. As you can probably tell from this thumbnail for today's show, this particular show, I should say, that, hey, Levi Onwuzurike was speculated that he'd only be out 4 weeks. Well, we now know that's not exactly going to be the case. Unfortunately, we don't know when it happened, but some point during the offseason, Levi Onwuzurike blew out his ACL for one of his knees. Dan Campbell was not committal which knee it was, and that he did have to have surgery for it. He will be out for the entire season. The good part, I guess, if you're going to Scooby-Doo this and throw this together, is that the Lions now have time to figure it out. Levi was probably not going to be a starter for this team. He's going to be a quality backup, rotational person, and he was playing, at least in my opinion, very good football towards the end of last season. All that being said and done, he did sign in the offseason, as you all know, a one-year contract extension with the team. And that one-year contract extension is not going to be really in play for the Detroit Lions as far as from a playing perspective. He's done so for the year. Professor Steele is going to try to join us. He was on the presser for MCDC in the Detroit Lions, and he's going to try to come on over here in a few. Here's what I can say. Earlier in the morning show, we were talking about who would be in and out of the Detroit Lions 53-man roster rotation, and this comes from our friends at A to Z Sports, Mike Payton. So Mike Payton, for those who didn't watch the morning show, had in Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reader, Josh Pascal, Mekhi Wingo, Zadarius Smith, who, as we know, isn't signed with the Detroit Lions yet, Roy Lopez, Tyleek Williams, Ahmed Hassanin, Marcus Davenport, Mitchell Aguiye, and then, yes, you did have Levi Onwuzurike on the PUP list. Now, part of that is who is out. Alaquin Muhammad, Broderick Martin, Miles Adams, Pat O'Connor, Chris Smith, Isaac Ukwa, Nate Lynn, Keith Cooper Jr., and Raquan Williams. Could this now mean that maybe there's more of a likelihood Miles Adams, Pat O'Connor, or Chris Smith make the team? I'd say we'd all probably agree with that. Maybe Broderick Martin finally rises to the occasion, the situation. He's got all the athleticism, all the strength, all the mass. Just unfortunately, the technique hasn't stuck yet. It'll be interesting to see what the Detroit Lions look to do, because with obviously Aleem McNeil's injury, with some of the other players on the list's injuries, Lions defensive tackle position would look like a massive strength going into the offseason, going into OTAs, etc. Now it's going to be a little bit tested. So with this breaking news, let's go ahead and bring on our man on the inside, the man with more knowledge than any person on planet Earth. He might be a criminal mastermind, or he might just be the smartest guy in this particular room. Nah. Professor Steele, what do you got going on here? The Detroit Lions all of a sudden seem to have some injuries already before they've even put on pads at the defensive tackle position.
Well, you look at that, it was just kind of heartbreaking for me to see that for Levi Onwuzurike. However, the Lions got to it. It was, I guess it's really heartbreaking because what the season he had last year, and then re-signing this year with the team. But, you know, you go in and probably went to get checked up and have a procedure because, you know, probably had some pain in his knee, and come to find out he had an ACL injury and it had to be fixed. So heartbreaks for that young man. However, for the team, it's just status quo. It is what it is, man. Next man up, man. There's no excuses. You just get the next guy up. You gotta look at it where you have guys that were down the depth chart who could have contributed last year. That's coming back. That will be. Look at Trey Wingo. Look at a guy like they re-signed Pat O'Connor. So they have guys that can play. You got a guy, Roy Lopez, that's new in the building. So they have depth at defensive tackle. Pascal will be back sooner rather than later. I think that from what I got out of the
MCDC.
presser, that these guys won't be out long. The guy that's on the pup list, coming into camp. So you'll probably get some guys back probably that second preseason game, but you'll get them back probably for joint practices. But they're still going to slow walk those guys so they have them ready for the season. So looking at that, then I was just because I was wondering that I was like, what's so bad that it's he's not, he's on the reserve pup list. He's going to miss the first 4 weeks. No, he's going to miss the entire season. So
right.
And I'm glad it's not his back. But football is a collision sport, and people will talk. And I had some people in the comments of our last video. We're talking about the Rattler situation, and I'm talking about how I stand with the players on a lot of that guaranteed money type of thing, because the NFL is the only really major sport that doesn't have guaranteed contracts. And you look at this situation, I think that the league standard is like they get 13% when they're on the injured list of whatever their contract is. That's not a lot of money, So, and for a sport that has so much collisions that the average NFL span of a career is 2 to 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So and an injury like this, man, for him, it's tough. But you got Tyleik Williams. I mean, like the Lions have depth, and you're gonna get Maylene McNeil back. You know what I'm saying? Sometime in this season. So the Lions are just gonna play how they played last year. You just next man up. You just keep the rotation. Now here's the thing. Levi Onwuzurike was not considered a starting defensive tackle. He just was not. So I mean, he's a good depth piece, and I hate that he, especially with the season he had last year. But the reason why he had the season he had last year is because of all the other injuries to other players.
This is true.
So,
very true.
But best wishes to that young man. I hope he has a good recovery. We can get him back in the fold next year. My thing is with this is that does that put his career in Detroit at jeopardy where he may not come back after this season? So, I mean, we'll see. But good to hear a lot of good news came out of that presser, though.
Right. And it, like you said, it's unfortunate about Levi. We get as soon as he was drafted, he was hurt. The injuries took a little bit more than the Lions were anticipating probably when they were drafting him. Do you think this helps out anything with, just because I know people are going to ask about Broderick Martin, do you think this helps his chances to live up to any of the hyper expectations?
It's going to be on that young man. The only thing I can say is that I've been tough on Broderick Martin, and I've been tough on him for a reason. He hasn't panned out. I mean, you look at what he has done in his short time in Detroit, can't get his pad level right. He just hasn't produced great, in his time when he's been in the lineup. So it's his chance to show and improve, but he's got some guys that's in front of him that I've outplayed him. And I mean, we'll see. You look at a guy like Pat O'Connor was on the field way more than him last year. And he was the guy that was productive on the field. I mean, he was a guy off the street. And then you look at Josh Pascal played good last year as well, and then of course you got the guys coming in, Tyleik Williams and Roy Lopez. Man, those guys are definitely above him on the depth chart, but it's going to be a chance for him to make a name for himself. I still don't see him making a 53-man roster. I see him as a practice squad or less. And I say that with 100% my whole chest. If he doesn't take the opportunity to make sure that he can produce this training camp, and get himself on the roster, it's totally on him.
I mean, I have to imagine, like you're kind of saying, that they've thrown everything at him to get it to pan out and just hasn't worked. Last thing, then let's get on to here. I mean, I know it's Sunday morning and such, but a lot of people were speculating yesterday that Alex Anzalone didn't even show up. We now know he was there. What do you think is going to happen with this situation? Do you think it's going to be an event, non-event? Where do you think it goes?
I think he's going to play. It's going to play out where he's going to play. Regardless of the contract situation, he's in the building. You look at what Dan Campbell said. He doesn't believe it's a hold-in. He does have some injuries. He did pass a conditioning test. He just won't be out there today. You look at him, Aquadine Muhammad, who just signed, those guys. MCDC is going to be upfront, 100% transparent, whatever's going on. So, yeah, I like the fact that he's in the building. And like Dan said, he wasn't there last year. He's a veteran player. A lot of some of those guys, they work out on their own. We know he's been working out because you see the videos. He posts them on the social media. So if you don't follow Alexander Lonely, you should, because he put up a lot of videos of him working out in the off season. So we'll see what the situation comes to. I don't think it comes to a big head. I think he's gonna play, and he may not be in Detroit next year. And I kind of saw this kind of coming. Like, you look at his age. I love what he does for our defense, but I think it's coming to the fact. Will come to the point where the Lions kind of move on with the price tag and the age. I just think it's one of those things where the Lions kind of move on from him. I don't like that because I like Alex Anzalone, excuse me, but business is business. They got some big contracts coming up, and
they do.
You look at that draft. You look at the draft class where you have Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs, Laporta, and Captain Jack. Those are huge contracts coming up, and they only can do fifth-year options on Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs. All the rest of those guys' contracts are coming up soon.
All right. I know you got the big premiere tomorrow. Why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out? Tell everybody watching now about, your premiere tomorrow, etc., where they can find you, support the channel, etc., etc. Come hang out with Professor Steele.
Okay, of course, man. Boss Up Ball Up Podcast season 2 premiere tomorrow. If the Lions have the pressure at 8, like they usually do during the training camp, the show will be pushed back probably about 15 minutes. Or right after the presser, it will go live. So make sure you tune in. But we're gonna have a good premiere for you tomorrow. We're going to talk all the things that happened today. We're gonna talk all the things. Alexander Lonely. We're gonna talk Levi Onwuzurike. We're gonna give all our opinions on what's going on and latest news and rumors coming out of Lions training camp on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. Make sure you check me out over there on CurtSteele.com. That's some articles coming up over there. And of course, check me out on Lions Nation Unite. I will be doing some videos over there as well. So thanks, Dan, for having me on, man. Shout out to the Duke crew, man. We'll see you guys next time.
All right. He is the professor. He is the wise one. He is Kurt Steele. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I want to thank Kurt Steele for giving us his expert opinion analysis. Everybody take care. Have a great day. Hit the subscribe. Hit the like. We'll see you on the next Lions Talk Live. See you, everybody. Oop, got to get the right button.
Excuse me, sir. Would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Juice for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism? How Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology? Or nuclear power?